with all due respect to Jay-Z, there's an awful lot of pictures of you running around in your undies at parties with Diddy. And so you were at some of these parties. It's not like there's no photographs that America's going in, hey, is that a young Jay-Z running around in his underwear with Diddy at a party? Huh. You know, when you see that, it's hard to walk away from that visual. It's very subtle. It's very subtle, Vinny. But you can detect Jay-Z indicating, again, you really got to read between the lines, that he's not going to negotiate. So one of the things he says is, I implore you to file criminal, not civil. Because remember what happened two summers ago when they moved the date in New York State, New York City? All those women came out with those Me Too suits because they had a deadline date, remember? Otherwise, the statute of limitations was going to come. That's what I see this.
The moment Jay-Z's name got called out during Diddy's federal trial, the entire hip-hop world held its breath. We're talking about two of the most powerful figures in music history. And now one of them is facing life in prison while the other is desperately trying to distance himself from the chaos. But here's the thing that nobody's talking about. The connections between these two moguls run deeper than anyone wants to admit, and the evidence that's coming out in court is painting a picture that's making everyone nervous.
Now, I bet you want to know why Jay-Z and Beyonce's name keep popping up around the whole Diddy thing. Well, that's why I'm here. Now, first thing you gotta know is when somebody like Diddy gets taken down, things always start out as a rumor. Diddy has had rumors floating around for like decades. Well, Jay-Z had a problem. He's right there in the corner, by the way. Jay-Z has had a few rumors himself, but more like speculation. People see Jay-Z in a picture of R. Kelly, they're like, I guess they both make music. Then Jay-Z with Harvey Weinstein. People are like, I guess they both do business. Then, of course, Jay-Z with Diddy. Now, hold on. Here's the thing. Jay-Z and Diddy go way back. Like back to the days when they were both coming up. So you could say they might just have a lot of respect for each other. But on the other hand, people are like, well, if you've known each other that long, Jay-Z, you must have known what Diddy was on. But Jay-Z has always had a history of keeping quiet, which brings us to Aaliyah. Now, I'm sure y'all remember R. Kelly dated Aaliyah when she literally needed her parents' permission slip to get married. Now, if I remember correctly, her parents got the permission slip and said, marry who? And that's how this whole thing got exposed. Now, a lot of people in the industry actually knew about this relationship because they would work with R. Kelly. They would be in the studio with R. Kelly. Now, according to Dame Dash, who, listen closely, was Jay-Z's first business partner and also dated Aaliyah when she was 21. He said this is how it went. He said he didn't want anything to do with R. Kelly because everyone knew what type of timing R. Kelly was on. He looks over at Jay-Z and Jay-Z's out here creating collab albums with R. Kelly. But then he saw why. For starters, everyone had a crush on Aaliyah. People were waiting down the clock until she turned 18. But Jay-Z decided to get a head start. Now, there's absolutely no proof that Jay-Z went after Aaliyah, but people were like, let me see another picture. But apparently Jay-Z wasn't successful and Dame Dash started dating her when she was 21. Now, what does this all have to do with Diddy? It's the secrets. It's the, like what happened to Diddy, making people wonder. Nas came out, well, he technically didn't come out and say this, but while he was having his legendary beef with Jay-Z, he's doing a radio interview and he's saying, it's weird that Jay-Z be working with people that need a permission slip to marry somebody, R. Kelly. But again, rumors, kind of like what was happening to Diddy. But then this lawyer comes out and says, boy, do I got some news for y'all. And here's where it starts to get wicked. Now, he's going after Diddy. Specifically, listen closely, anyone that Diddy might have done something to, or anyone who's watched Diddy do some of these things and stayed silent about it. Now, first of all, the lawyer's taking calls from anyone. So theoretically, anyone could just call trying to get some money saying Diddy did this to me, Diddy should pay me. But in the lawyer's defense, I'm sure he's looking for people with proof. Honestly, I don't know him. He could be trash. Anyway, what he said next is what got people interested. He said, and I got some names. He said some wild names. Some names that will blow your mind. He's selling this. He's saying, yo, y'all finna wild out when you hear these names. I'm not gonna say it now, but y'all finna wild out. So people are like, Now, in Beyonce's case, it's just because she's married to Jay-Z and she's been in the industry for like 20 years. People are like, you must have known something. But that's all people have. Now, in Jay-Z's defense, he's famously all about the money. As far as we've seen, he's always been around Diddy for like a public event or when money's involved. And the same could be said for all the other people he was around. He could have thought, oh, R. Kelly's huge right now. Let me do an album with him to boost my name up. Many people have come out saying Jay-Z is a cutthroat businessman, kind of like Bill Gates, who I actually think is a sociopath, but that's a story for another day. And cutthroat businessmen will cross any line and work with anyone to get what they want. Because at the end of the day, to them, it's just business. That being said, that doesn't make this a good thing. That's why Jay-Z can still be prosecuted for watching crimes happen but not saying anything about it. But at the end of the day, as you probably know, Jay-Z is rich. He's not going to jail for that. He would need an insane amount of evidence, and even then, he would still probably get off. But that doesn't really matter in some cases. A lot of times, reputation is the most important thing. So a lot of times, the courts will take a case they know they can't win or sign a deal just to get the rumor mill started and get people going, yo, why did Bill Cosby sign a deal? For those of you that don't know, Bill Cosby was arrested like 20 years before the big, allegations came out. They told him, just tell us you did it and we won't broadcast this. He said, absolutely. I need to save my reputation. People started asking questions. Boom, boom, boom. 20 years later, he goes to jail. But he actually did get out because the cops did say they were going to keep his confession low key, but then they used it against him 20 years later. But anyway, back to Jay-Z. At the end of the day, this could go any way. The thing is, Diddy's sloppy. He was bound to get caught. Jay-Z, not sloppy. So he would be a tough one to catch. But on the other hand, the FBI is pretty good at their job. Remember that lawyer from earlier that's going against Diddy and is gathering all those names on his alleged accomplices? Well, he also said that he gave a lot of his information to the FBI. And if Jay-Z's name pops up, he's in trouble, because how the FBI works is they'll take that information and they'll put it in a little vault with all the other information they might have on Jay-Z. When it's enough to lock him up, that's when they'll come out. So if you see the words FBI and Jay-Z in the same sentence, it's a wrap.
When news broke that Jay-Z had been referenced by witnesses in Diddy's ongoing sex trafficking trial, it sent shockwaves through the industry. The timing couldn't be worse for the billionaire rapper who spent decades building an untouchable empire with Beyonce by his side. But now, former Bad Boy employees are taking the stand and dropping his name in testimonies that could change everything. The witness statements aren't just casual mentions either. They're detailed accounts of conversations and situations that allegedly involved both moguls during some of the most controversial periods in hip-hop history. Just months before the trial began, Jay-Z had to fight tooth and nail against a lawsuit that threatened to destroy his reputation completely. The case, filed by an anonymous woman claiming she was assaulted by both Jay-Z and Diddy at a party in 2000, made headlines worldwide. The allegations were so explosive that they dominated social media for weeks, with fans and critics alike questioning whether the man who married Beyonce and built a business empire could be capable of such heinous acts. Jay-Z's legal team, led by high-powered attorney Alex Spiro, didn't just defend him. They went on the offensive, calling the lawsuit a clear attempt at blackmail and extortion. The accuser's lawyer, Tony Busby, had been making waves with over 100 similar cases against Diddy, using a New York law that allows old cases to be reopened. But Jay-Z wasn't backing down. His team systematically dismantled the case, finding holes in the accuser's story and exposing inconsistencies that ultimately led to the lawsuit being dismissed with prejudice in February 2025. That means it can't be refiled. And Jay-Z didn't stop there. He turned around and filed a defamation lawsuit against the anonymous woman and her attorneys, claiming they knowingly fabricated the allegations and cost his company over $20 million in damages. But the real question everyone's asking is how Jay-Z's name keeps surfacing in connection with Diddy's legendary parties. These weren't your typical celebrity gatherings. They were exclusive, secretive events where phones were confiscated at the door and NDAs were signed before entry. The atmosphere was carefully crafted to ensure that whatever happened inside would never leak out. Witnesses have described rooms filled with celebrities, drugs, and situations that would make your head spin. The prosecution has painted a picture of systematic manipulation and coercion, with Diddy allegedly using these parties as opportunities to compromise powerful people and build leverage over them. What's particularly disturbing is how many celebrities attended these gatherings over the years. Court documents and witness testimonies have revealed a guest list that reads like a who's who of entertainment, with names like Michael B. Jordan, Kanye West, and dozens of other A-listers being mentioned. But Jay-Z's presence at these events carries extra weight because of his longtime relationship with Diddy and his position as one of hip-hop's most influential figures. Former employees have testified about seeing Jay-Z at multiple gatherings, and some have even suggested that he was aware of the darker activities allegedly taking place behind closed doors. The cooperation theory that's got everyone talking is based on the idea that Diddy might be willing to give up information about other celebrities to reduce his own sentence. Facing potential life in prison on racketeering and sex trafficking charges, some legal experts believe Diddy could become a cooperating witness against other high-profile figures. The timing of various revelations and the way certain names keep surfacing in court has led to speculation that Diddy is already providing information to federal investigators. If that's true, Jay-Z's long association with Diddy could make him a target, regardless of whether he actually participated in any criminal activity. Industry insiders have been whispering about a culture of silence that protected powerful figures for decades. The use of NDAs, private security, and exclusive venues created an environment where celebrities could engage in behavior without fear of consequences. Multiple witnesses, including former employees and party attendees, have described an atmosphere of intimidation and control that kept people from speaking out. Some have alleged that celebrities who tried to leave certain situations or speak up about what they witnessed faced retaliation through industry connections and business relationships. The situation got even more complicated when viral social media posts claimed that the FBI had raided Jay-Z's mansion. The rumor spread like wildfire across TikTok and Twitter, with users sharing fake news reports and speculating about what evidence might have been found. While the story was quickly debunked by fact-checkers and official sources, the damage to Jay-Z's reputation was already done. The timing of the fake news seemed suspiciously convenient, coming right as Diddy's trial was heating up and Jay-Z's name was being mentioned in court proceedings. What makes this whole situation even more explosive is the suggestion that some of these rumors might have been deliberately planted to pressure Jay-Z or send him a message. The leak of the fake FBI raid story came just days after witnesses mentioned his name in court, leading some to speculate that someone wanted to let Jay-Z know he was being watched. Whether it was a warning from federal investigators, a pressure tactic from Diddy's camp, or just internet chaos, the effect was the same. Jay-Z's name became permanently linked to the scandal in the public consciousness. Behind the scenes, sources close to both camps have described a tense atmosphere where longtime friendships and business relationships are being tested. Jay-Z has reportedly been avoiding public appearances and staying close to his legal team as the trial continues. His usual social media presence has been notably quiet, and he's been careful about which events he attends and who he's photographed with. The calculated distance he's putting between himself and anyone connected to the Diddy case suggests that his team is taking the threat seriously, even if they maintain his innocence. The psychological impact on Jay-Z's family has also become a factor, with sources suggesting that Beyonce and their children have been affected by the constant speculation and media attention. Jay-Z's public statement about having to explain the situation to his children revealed the personal toll that these allegations have taken on his family. The idea that one of music's most powerful couples could be brought down by association with Diddy's alleged crimes has sent shockwaves through their inner circle and the entertainment industry as a whole. What's particularly concerning for Jay-Z is how his past business relationships and social connections are being re-examined through this new lens. Photos from old parties, business deals, and public appearances are being dissected by internet sleuths looking for evidence of deeper connections. Even innocent interactions from years ago are being interpreted as potential evidence of knowledge or participation in criminal activity. The court of public opinion operates on a different standard than actual courts. And Jay-Z is learning that his reputation can be damaged even without formal charges being filed. As Diddy's trial continues, more witnesses are expected to take the stand, and more names are likely to be mentioned in testimony. The prosecution has indicated that they have extensive evidence, including videos, documents, and witness statements that could implicate other celebrities. If Jay-Z's name continues to surface in court proceedings, the pressure on him will only intensify. Legal experts have suggested that even if he's never formally charged, the association with Diddy's case could have lasting consequences for his business empire and public image. The broader implications for the hip-hop industry are staggering. If the allegations against Diddy are proven true, and if other high-profile figures are implicated, it could lead to a complete restructuring of power in the music business. The culture of secrecy and protection that allowed these alleged activities to continue for so long is being exposed, and the consequences could extend far beyond just the individuals involved. Record labels, management companies, and other industry players who may have enabled or protected these behaviors could face their own legal and financial consequences. The next few months will be crucial for Jay-Z as the trial continues and more evidence is presented. His legal team is undoubtedly preparing for the possibility that his name will continue to surface in court proceedings, and they're likely developing strategies to minimize any damage to his reputation and business interests. The defamation lawsuit he filed against his accusers shows that he's willing to fight back aggressively, but the court of public opinion may be harder to win than actual legal battles. In a courtroom bombshell, Diddy's former employee testified about a tense encounter involving Diddy, Cassie, and Jay-Z, hinting at secrets that many believed were buried for good. She claimed that Diddy once told Cassie to date other people. But when asked about Jay-Z, she said, "Jay-Z is taken," a statement that fueled speculation about hidden relationships and industry alliances. Even more shocking, the same witness revealed that Diddy once allegedly arrived at her house furious, carrying a gun, threatening to kid Cootie after he found out Cootie was dating Cassie. Cootie himself testified that Diddy broke into his house, injured his dog, and left a trail of chaos. An incident that has many questioning what's really going on behind closed doors. In the midst of this turmoil, some advocates argue for greater transparency and stronger protections for privacy, warning that such schemes threaten the integrity of the industry and the safety of its members. Others caution that the true scope of these power struggles remains obscured, with many details deliberately kept hidden behind layers of secrecy and denial. As investigations unfold and more information becomes available, the narrative of blackmail and power plays continues to evolve. What remains clear is that the stakes are high, and the truth, if it ever fully surfaces, could dramatically reshape the landscape of entertainment, exposing the dark underbelly that often lurks behind the public persona of glamour and success.